big story running this week is the Turkey invasion of northern Syria with this guy Erdogan. And of course, you want an obvious cause and effect. Well, I mean, it doesn't come much more obvious than Trump saying he's going to pull American troops out of that area. And basically the next day, Turkey announces it's going to invade that area. I mean, Syrian sovereignty, anybody got any respect for Syrian sovereignty? Of course not. Do what they bloody like. And so Turkey's invaded northern Syria, claiming it's going to create a safe zone. Nothing of the kind. It's targeting the Kurds, who've been, again, stitched up by the American government and the American military, as they have been so many times. I mean, when is it going to dawn on the Kurds, when you look through the history of them being hung out to dry by the American government, having worked to help what the American government wants and then being hung out to dry? How many times does it have to happen before the penny drops that they shouldn't be supporting and working with anything to do with the American government, because they know that eventually they're going to be stitched up again, and they have been. And now what's happening is the Syrian army of Assad is now moved into that area. They've apparently done a deal with the Kurds to stop this advance by Turkey. Russia has come in and said they're going to put troops between the Syrian army and the Turkish army to stop them fighting each other. So when it's all calmed down, now it's kicked off again, and it's kicked off for a very simple reason, which again I've been predicting over the months, that the plan, which comes out of Israel ultimately, the death cult, to remove Assad, which has been all planned long before 9/11. As I explain in detail in the trigger, they've not given up on removing Assad. I mean, Russia came in and stopped what would be now an Assad-free, America-controlled, stroke ISIS-controlled Syria. In effect, an Israel-controlled Syria, and the Russians put a spanner in that works, but. They haven't given up on the goal, which is to remove Assad and to take control of Syria. So what's happening now with this invasion is absolutely par for the course. And I love it when UK suspends arms sales to Turkey as a result of the invasion. So what about all the arms you've given them that they're now using to do what you say is wrong? Well, we're not giving them any more. Well, you don't need to. They've got all they need. And of course, Russia's been supplying arms to Turkey. Don't let's fall for the idea that Russia are the good guys in all this. They have their own agenda as well. One of the things that's been threatened by Erdogan, because he has an enormous card to play, thanks to the America-NATO involvement in creating mayhem in Libya and Syria, etc. And that is those wars of regime change, ultimately orchestrated out of Israel and the death cult that I describe in the trigger. That has caused vast numbers of people to flee Libya, which is now a basket case, like some medieval nightmare, and Syria. And of course, large numbers of people have moved north into Europe, with even greater numbers of people who are not fleeing war, but are tagging on to those that are in far greater numbers. And the EU did a deal with Erdogan for money to keep a very large number of migrants fleeing out of Syria, etc., in Turkey. And what Erdogan's saying now is wants to invade Syria to basically put these Syrian migrants there. But what Erdogan has said is he's threatened to flood Europe with 3.6 million refugees if the EU calls his Syria operation an invasion, which it blatantly is. And so he's got this card. Okay, you want to criticize me? Okay, I'm going to open the door to 3.6 million migrants to head your way. Would you like to reconsider your opinion? Story, Turkey's president has threatened to send millions of Syrian refugees to Europe if the European Union labelled his military operation underway in Syria an invasion. We will open the gates and send 3.6 million refugees your way, Erdogan said in a speech to lawmakers. The Turkish leader was enraged by a statement, well, easily enraged, this bloke. You know, just like Netanyahu. Hello, Benjamin Netanyahu. How are you today? I'm enraged. Just like yesterday. Yesterday morning, yesterday lunchtime, yesterday evening. When you go to bed, you know, what's your kind of persona? How are you when you go to bed? I'm outraged. Of course you're outraged. You're permanently bloody outraged. And so is Erdogan. Why are you outraged? Anti-Semitism. What's the question? So, the Turkish leader was enraged by a statement released the day before the European Union, or by the European Union, which called on Turkey to cease the unilateral military action against Kurdish-led Syrian democratic forces in northern Syria. So that is always in the background. And what I said in the trigger, which came out last month, is that the plan eventually is to find an excuse for Erdogan to do just that and let vast numbers of people head for Europe. And that immediately will be the end of Greece. What's left of it. Another migrant story. Again, this is all part of the plan, because the idea is to transform the culture of Europe and the culture of America. And, you know, people say, oh, that's racist. No, it's not racist. If I was, well, everything is racist, isn't it now? If you're an idiot. But if I was someone living in Libya, and I'd have lived in Syria with my family while all this mayhem has been going on, I would want to head for Europe. You're not having a go at the people who are heading for Europe, because you can understand why they are. Although there's a lot of really unpleasant people among them, as well as the decent people. But you're not allowed to say that. Well, try to stop me. Because you find decent people and deeply unpleasant people in every community. But no, I understand why they're doing it. But the point is, there are consequences for vast numbers of people of that happening. But you're not allowed to point out these obvious facts, because if it's the agenda, you can't criticize it. And this mass migration of people is absolutely the agenda. It's been planned for a very, very, very long time. And this is why you have this other headline this week: just 6% of illegal migrants crossing the Channel into Britain since December are deported by the UK. Why would that be? Because there's an agenda going on.